We're in the kitchen with John, and I am so excited about this.
Yes.
This has just got correct tick.
It's got all the ticks.
All over it.
All the boxes. I'm making a cake, basically. But it's a cake with a crumble top, and it's got spice in there, it's got blackberries. It's beautiful.
So
blackberries are in season.
It is season now, is it? I never know
season.
when it starts.
Yeah, well, it's round about now. It's just starting now. You'll get a few on the brambles. But the cake batter, this here you can see is just butter and sugar. And you've got to make sure you whisk it really very, very well until it's well creamed and the sugar is well dissolved into the butter. Otherwise, the sugar turns to like a syrup in the cake. And that's how you can get a really dense, sticky, horrible cake.
Okay.
So make sure you cream the butter and sugar.
So just like cream it longer than you think you have
Exactly, about 7 minutes to be precise.
Oh, really? With one of those, not manually?
Well, you can do it manually. You can do it with a wooden spoon if you're that way inclined, but obviously I'm not. I don't like elbow grease. I don't believe in it. But I'm going to add here some eggs as well. Now, this will curdle. It'll go like cellulite.
So don't worry. Don't think that's wrong.
There's nothing wrong with a bit of cellulite in the cake. It's fine. It'll come together when I add the flour in a minute, so it really doesn't matter all that much. So as soon as the eggs are incorporated into there, which they are, I'm happy with that now. I can then add the other ingredients.
Okay.
But yeah, brambles, blackberries are in season right now. They're everywhere. They're sort of growing. They're just starting to come into season.
Well, you get them. I remember when I was younger going and picking them on bushes, but there's a trick, isn't there? There's a rule. You've got to pick the ones that are quite high up.
Yeah, otherwise they might have dogweed.
Yes, that's
them.
it.
Or a critically passing bird or something like that might have, done something to them. But no, I mean, and it's often cheaper as well to pick them. It takes a bit, it takes longer. It can take all day just to get a little bag full.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got kids who keep eating them as they go along.
Yeah.
But I grew up on a farm, and obviously I'm not. I don't farm. I don't get my hands dirty. I can't do any of that. But I used to pick the blackberries and do all that sort of very, very feminine stuff, I think.
Nice, well done.
Some self-raising flour in there, and with that I'm going to add some spices because we need a bit of ginger with blackberries, I think. So just 2.
Do you just make these recipes up, just kind of go, well, let's try this?
Whatever's in the cupboard, just chuck it in and hope for the best.
You see, but I can't do that because I'll end up adding ketchup or something like that. I'm just like,
well, do you know what? Actually, if you say that, ketchup in a chocolate cake, a few little squirts of ketchup is beautiful. Really? Honestly, you might think I'm pulling your leg.
Yeah.
Because you're a baking novice, aren't you?
Yes.
But no, try it.
Really?
In chocolate cake. But in fact, I'll do one on the show one week. Okay. Make a note of that, guys. I'll do one on the show. Because you can make one with tomato soup as well. You know, the poet Sylvia Plath, she used to make tomato soup chocolate cake.
Oh, wow.
It was amazing, apparently.
Well, that sounds really interesting.
We'll give it a whirl. So I'm going to fold in the flour now, quite roughly. I'm not being too gentle about this because flour is very well ground these days. You don't need to be too pedantic about it. Give it a beat in and then just fold through some blackberries, which I've just chopped in half. Now, I don't mind, Mary Berry, are you listening? Because I don't mind if the fruit sinks to the bottom of the cake. She would. She'd have problems with that.
Right, OK.
But I don't care. And I quite like it in this particularly because then it's like a cake with a line of jam at the bottom, then the cake, and then you've got that glorious crumble topping. What was the cake you made on British Bake Off? What was like your pièce de résistance? My final cake was called the Heaven and Hell cake. Right. It was like a giant chocolate cake with a coconut mountain on top. It was incredible.
Sounds amazing.
I don't know how I did it, to be honest, but I did it, and it worked well. It worked in my favour, but I got there. So I folded the blackberries into the batter. Now, I always use loose bottom cake tins, and I always used anodised aluminium cake tins because they conduct the heat really evenly and perfectly. And you've got to make sure that you line it well. Grease it first. OK.
You think paper's better than just greasing it?
Yeah, greaseproof paper's better. I mean, you can just grease it if you want to, but, it's best to line it with a bit of paper too, because that just protects it from that intense heat. It sort of baffles the heat. My daughter
quite likes doing the greasing bit. She thinks that's exciting.
It is.
Then, OK, fine.
Yeah, just let her do the paper bit as well.
This is the bit as well where we wouldn't be able to put that bowl away. We'd have to then sit and
no, that's for us later.
Oh, good.
Don't worry, we'll get in that later,
Excellent.
Don't worry. While Sarah's singing, we'll do that.
Excellent.
So even the top out nicely. The oven's on about 170, 150 fan, because this is a bigger cake. It's a 23 centimetre, 9-inch cake. So it's going to take a little bit longer than a usual cake. So it takes about 40, 50 minutes. So make sure you get your oven right at the right temperature. And get every last bit of batter in there as well.
If you weren't on television, you would so have licked that.
Oh, I would, but I'll get some complaints. I've got to make sure I wash my hands. You know what the folk are like out there. So give it a bit of a spin. And then for the crumble top, this is the sort of pièce de résistance. I've got here just a normal crumble mixture. It's just flour and butter, sort of rubbed together to like inelegant breadcrumbs, I always say. And I'm going to add to that just a little bit of light muscovado sugar. If you don't have this in the cupboard, just use custard.
You can buy ready-made breadcrumbs as well, can't you?
What?
You can. You can buy little packs of
Get out of town.
You can.
Seriously?
I've seen them, yeah.
Oh, breadcrumbs, not...
Yeah, no, breadcrumbs. So you can just, you don't have to then kind of make it all from start.
No, you don't use those, love. Don't use breadcrumbs.
No, not breadcrumbs. You know what I mean, like that. that?
A crumble mix.
Crumble mix, but it's all breadcrumbs. That's what I meant.
Your panko crust on your
Look
cake.
at me, I was so in with my cooking terminology.
I'll help you. Don't worry, I'll help you. And all I'm going to do with that then is just sprinkle that onto the top of the raw cake batter. And then, as I say, into the oven, 170, 150 fan for between 40 and 50 minutes. Skewer test it. If a skewer comes out the centre, it's done. It should be nice and golden brown.
Is that how you do it?
That's how you do it, yeah. And that's really it. And you can do that with any cake. You know, put the crumble on top.
Oh, wow, that would be
and it's
amazing.
beautiful.
Crumble is so nice, and it's got to be nice and crunchy on top as well.
This is.
I cannot wait to try that.
Not even when you wet yourself on telly?
No.
Why not? Why are you not
Because
embarrassed?
it's so normal now.
No, it's not.
It is.
No, it really isn't.
It is. So,
No, it really
you know,
isn't.
I would be embarrassed if people didn't like it, or people like...
Well, can I say to you, a lot of people don't? I don't.
Yeah, but-
I really don't, love. Honestly, I have to be honest
Yeah,
with
but
you.
I mean, I totally understand.